Hey everybody! Yes, you read that right. Almost 100 pounds in 6 months. Very close to 100 pounds, actually. I didn't want to make it official until I went to the doctor today because I don't trust my scale at home, which I shouldn't, actually, because I tried my scale this morning just to see the difference, and I, in fact, weighed less at the doctor. So, it's official. And it's amazing and awesome and overwhelming, and I can't even believe it. I might even have been last because I kind of hit like a little bit of a plateau over the last couple months just because there's been a lot going on and a lot on my plate and what I'm eating and paying attention to taking care of my diet. It's a job, as I've said before. It kind of takes a lot of time and effort, and I didn't really have any to put into it, so I kind of plateaued a little bit, but I'm back on track and even more motivated than ever. And I feel freaking fantastic. I can't tell you how good I feel. I feel like a totally different person. I have so far to go still to lose and to get to a healthy weight, and yet I still feel freaking amazing. I feel 150 times better than I did before the surgery. And I can't even think about 6 months ago. Like, it's weird to think that only 6 months ago I was almost 100 pounds heavier and a totally different person, and life was totally different for me. Already everything seems doable and easier, and I find myself wanting to take the dog out for a walk and wanting to run up and down the stairs for things and wanting to do things and not freaking out because I have to park farther away from the store than I'd like to. All those things that I used to really worry about beforehand, I don't worry about it all anymore, and that feels really good. Everything has been going really well. My hair was one of the only negatives, I think I mentioned in one of my last blogs, and I have lost quite a bit. I probably wanted to say I'd lost at least 80% of what I had before I finally called the doctor and was like, oh my gosh, and they offered some different things that I could try, and that has definitely helped, but it's started to slow down a little bit, and that's okay, because as long as I don't go completely bald, I'll deal with it. And even if I didn't go completely bald, I'd still deal with it because it's still worth it. I haven't for 1 millisecond regretted the decision to have the surgery. It has been the best decision I made, and I still consider it a huge gift that I was able to do it and get my life back, and that's what it really feels like. I haven't left any blogs because I kind of feel like I don't have anything super interesting to say. I'm still losing weight. I'm still feeling fantastic. I'm ready to start going to the gym, I think. I was really weak before, and I finally started to see that get better too. If I'm standing in the same spot for a long period of time, I'm going to want to sit down. I'm going to start to feel kind of yucky, but even that isn't that bad, and walking around isn't that bad. If I have to walk around a lot, I still kind of go about it, but I do it, and I'm fine. You know, my husband and I were somewhere the other day and walked around quite a bit, and when we were leaving, he said, I was worried about you, but I didn't want to say anything because there were other people around. How was it? And I was like, it wasn't actually that bad, and that alone feels fantastic. I mean, the number I've said from the beginning isn't important. Of course, seeing 100 or close to 100 is fantastic and something that you can't not love to see. And there are even some other numbers that I wanted to see the end of, and I've done that too. So I love that, and that's a great bonus, but just how I feel is 100% why I did this. I see a difference with the kids and how I interact with the kids and what I'm doing with the kids, and I see a difference in just everything. Everything I do is just easier. And I even said to them, I have lost neither one of my kids have hit 100 pounds because they're so little. And my son, he's 13, and I said just recently, I'm like, I've lost an entire you already. And of course my daughter, because she weighs even less, which is crazy. It's crazy to think that I have, it's crazier for other people to think about it in the fact that 6 months ago I was carrying around essentially my son everywhere I went, on top of what I already am. So to lose that is a big difference. It's a big freaking difference. And every little change I notice, it's funny because it's definitely a mind screw thing. Like, you can definitely get kind of like, oh, I'm going to gain weight, because your body changes shape often. It kind of relocates and readjusts and things like that. So all of a sudden, what I thought looked thinner before won't look thinner, and it kind of makes you go, uh-oh, what if I'm gaining? But as long as you don't focus on that and you just focus on what you're feeling and how you feel, then the rest of it doesn't really matter. I think it's been interesting that people have such an opinion about it, which I don't mind, actually, for the record, people's opinions, because I actually really like honesty and upfront and bluntness. So if people are thinking things, I love to hear it. But I think it's interesting that when you're losing weight, people feel like they more often can say something about what they think about it than when you're gaining weight, because then they're afraid to say something. And it's just an interesting thing that you're allowed to, it's more like PC, okay, to make comments about people losing weight and stuff, which I think is kind of interesting and not a bad thing, just an observation that I've made. It's definitely been a really fun process, and it's been a blessing, and the people who are supportive out there have been super supportive and super kind and super nice, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot, and I don't even know what else to say. My diet has been going well. I can still eat pretty much anything I want, which just means that it's all on me how much I lose, which I kind of appreciate, because then in the end I'll be able to take that much more pride in the final result. The only thing I still can't eat is eggs, and I'll get over it. I live on protein as much as I possibly can. Almost every single decision I make is made with protein in mind, unless it's like I'm kind of in the mood for something, and that doesn't happen very often. And usually I appreciate that if I do have some kind of what are they called? Like a craving, that's the word. Like if I do have some kind of craving, I know that I can do it, because I'm going to have 3 bites of whatever it is. And that kind of keeps you from that panicky feeling that you get when you're on a diet. Oh my God, I can't eat that ever again. Like, you don't have that, because yes, if you really care that much, you can have a tiny bite, but that doesn't mean you're going to have a tiny bite every day for the next 10 days. That means you're going to have a tiny bite and you're going to share it with your family, or you're going to throw it out and you're not going to keep eating it over and over again. I can see how people don't lose as much, and I can see how people gain back, because it's very easy to eat a little bit and then wait a little bit and eat a little bit more and then wait a little bit and then wait a bit longer and then eat a little bit more and still eat all those calories. Just do it slowly. So it's you have to be careful of of your eating, and you do have to be on a schedule, and you do have to pay attention that there's a long time in between meals. I am not that person who is never hungry. I think that's awesome that when you go to the little meetings for the surgery that they brought a woman saying, I was never hungry again, and that's so cool for you. That's not me. I'm not starving by any stretch of the imagination, but I do get hungry, and then I'll think, oh, I really want this. But now the difference is, in the back of the immediate second thought that I have is, but I'm going to eat 3 bites of it. Let's keep that in mind. And that makes it not worth it most of the time. So it's definitely life-changing. It's definitely changed how I look at food and how I look at myself. And I love it. I love every freaking second of it. And I don't like to shout it on the rooftops about how much I'm losing. It's a funny thing when you're on it. A lot of times, and I'll tell you right now, the reason why people don't like to tell people when they're on a diet is because they don't want them paying attention. They don't want you looking and saying, oh, she's on her diet, I wonder how it's working, I don't see any change, or I do see a change. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants a babysitter. Yes, they say it helps to be accountable, but not really, because you don't want people always paying attention to what's going on with your weight and stuff. And obviously with the surgery and my telling everyone about the surgery, absolutely everybody's paying attention to what's going on. And that's okay with me, because it's different this time. It's not always fun to hear people's comments about what they think other people are doing and whether or not they think I'm being successful, but I don't have a lot of people telling me whether or not they think I'm being successful. And hearing other people's stories and other people's successes is a really big motivation and a really fun thing to hear, because I love seeing other people succeed. I really am one of those people that does not get weird about other people's success. I freaking love it. And as women, we should be way more encouraging of each other and way more supportive of each other, and really take joy in everybody, and not just as women, because that's kind of annoying too. Honestly, just as a human race, we should want everyone around us to succeed. And anybody in my life who is one of those people, I recognize you, and I love you for wanting me to succeed and watching and being supportive and coming on this journey with me. And I hope that everyone out there is doing really well. And if I think of anything else to say, I really will make more of these. I feel bad I haven't made so many. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks.